What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, back with another awesome product review that you possibly have never heard of. I'm sure you've heard of its predecessor, but as of recent, Streamlight did come out with a new TLR-6 variant, and we're going to get into it, what I think of it, how it works, some cool upgrades to it, but also the downside to it, right? And another thing I'd like to mention is, just because you may not like the product or aren't interested in it, doesn't mean it doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of other people out there. Actually, at the local gun store, or the local range that I go to, one of my most favorite people I've ever met there is an RSO, and, I asked him, is that your main carry? He goes, yeah, and he pulled it out, and it was a Shield, a 9mm Performance Center, right, the original one. And, I said, why do you like it, and blah, blah, blah. He goes, it's my only gun. I absolutely love it. He's been doing this for years. He can get more than one gun if he wants, but he goes, I don't need anything else. It's simply a 7+1 or 8+1 Shield Performance Center in 9mm. That's it. Not this new one. Doesn't have a red dot on it. Doesn't have a light. Doesn't have all this, grips and all this excess stuff on it. It's simply just a pistol he's going to carry every day. It's small enough for concealed carry. And when you only have one firearm, you tend to get really good with that one firearm because that's all you shoot, obviously, unless you're shooting your buddy's handgun or you borrow someone at the range. So when I was there, I always let him shoot some of my stuff just to see what he likes of it. And you know what he always likes? His one Shield Performance Center. So I've always respected that guy, and I've always appreciated, his thoughts and how he does things, right? I have a lot of firearms because I run a review channel, but sometimes I sort of wish I only had one firearm. It's sort of a weird thought, or maybe two, right? But I just like his mindset when it comes down to it. Anyways, stuff like the Glock 26, the M&P Shield, the Glock 43, the first line of the 43Xs and 48s. So a lot of people have 43Xs and 48s that did not come with a rail, as well as the shields and all that. Even though this is a new release of 2024, they still didn't put a rail on it. Even though this is a Glock 25 or Glock 26 Gen 5, they still did not put a rail on it, and it just blows a lot of people's minds. It doesn't take that much to change. It's not something that's going to alter the design. On top of that, my Glock 30S has one, and this is a Gen 3. So it's really confusing why Glock wouldn't do that. Obviously, the 43X and 48 MOS came out, but the problem is when there's a new release, a lot of people jump on it and purchase it and are basically stuck without a rail unless they buy a new lower for it, right? Well, that's why they make a TLR-6, and the original TLR-6 was 100 lumens, and it sits just like this. It sits on the trigger guard, and it's held on by this latch right here for the battery, as well as 3 screws, right? They have the same thing for the 43X and 48, as well as the 26. I have one on my Glock 27, I have one on my 43X, stuff like that. I don't carry with a light in, majority of my carry guns, but I do have one light setup, which is actually my Springfield Army Hellcat that always has a light on it, just in case I'm going outside. I rarely ever go out when it's nighttime, so therefore I don't carry with a light. But I know a lot of people do, and it tends to be a make or break for a lot of their pickup purchases and decisions. So Streamlight recently came out with something that was more than 100 lumens, the TLR-6HL. And they do not have one yet for the 26, but what I was saying is they will, I guarantee it, they will be releasing one for the 26 and 27 and stuff like that. But they did come out with one for the 43 and the 43X and also the Shield. And considering Smith & Wesson released the Shield Plus, and it's absolutely taken over the market because it's a great, reliable handgun that it's affordable to the average person, they came out with this, and it's been awesome. But there are some downsides to it, straight up. I got to be honest with you guys. The positives. One, it still fits the holster from the original TLR-6. So if you have the 100 lumen TLR-6 on your Shield Plus, or on your Shield or Shield Plus, you can use that same holster and just upgrade your light. That is definitely a benefit. That's genius. This version right here came with a light and a laser. So I have both. You don't have to get both, I don't think. I think they offer both versions, but that's just light, that's light laser, and then that's just light right there. So, absolutely love it. I barely use the laser, so I'll probably have that off and just use the light. I have a dot and, so on. Don't really need that laser. But for a lot of people with a non-optics ready version, having that laser's awesome. I like shooting with lasers. They're pretty solid, right? So you just have to zero that in and, get it on point, right? Anyways, this thing is interesting because instead of just having to buy a new battery every time, it came with something sort of like AirPods or like the new headphones, right? It comes in a charging case. Actually pretty cool. And it came with 3 batteries. So basically, you just pop that back and boom, you have your 3 batteries. And they sit in here and they charge. So you're done with one, you pop that in here, obviously, swap it out, and then you plug it in with the cord they gave you. They gave you everything you need to run this setup, right? Except for the block. You obviously need a block, but I'm sure you have one for your cell phone case, right? So that's actually a pretty cool thing, but that also comes with the major downside. The major downside of this, and I'm not 100% sure why they would do it, but also you got to hear me out completely on this. The batteries last only 20 minutes apiece. But another thing, if you're just concealed carrying, 99.99999% of us have never had to use our firearm in self-defense. And that's basically going to remain that way for a long time. So the 20 minutes, you're rarely ever going to use. And if you're night shooting, just keep this thing charging, and you have a full hour of night shooting right there. And if you're going to shoot for more than an hour, just plan ahead, get a portable battery charger, plug this in and keep charging them as you're shooting. Therefore, you will never run out of battery life. Plus, as long as you aren't just messing around with your battery all the time, it'll be there. I don't turn mine on. I have no use for turning it on unless I, have to use it for something or whatever the case may be. Unless I'm night shooting, then it doesn't get turned on. Therefore, the 20 minutes doesn't matter. And if you really think of it like that, 20 minutes for a light, that's a long time of having your light on. I don't do it ever. I don't think I've ever had this light on consecutively for 20 minutes or on my old ones or whatever the case may be. I know it sounds like a small amount of time, but think logically. The only time you're going to use that light is when you're shooting at night, and you can bring your other 2 back up, shoot, buy some extra rechargeable ones if you want. On top of that, I think they sell this style of battery that's non-rechargeable that actually lasts longer. So you can also buy the non-rechargeable ones. You guys, a lot of people like to complain about the dumbest thing nowadays, and honestly, it really makes me want to get off YouTube because it's just ridiculous at that point. The things people complain about, it's just, like I said, it makes me not even want to do YouTube anymore. It's just ridiculous. Tell me the last time you've had to use your light. Actually use it, not just sit at home and, oh, that light looks cool. Tell me the last time you actually had to use your light for more than 20 minutes. You haven't. That's just a thing. Unless you're nighttime shooting. Like I said, bring your backups. You have a full hour. Bring a portable charger, and you just keep rotating them. It's not that big of a deal. People are just dramatic nowadays. The easy thing you can do as well is, if you use it for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, just checking it out, swap it out real quick. Then those will be charged. This will be charged, and you're good to go. I think it's awesome because it's 300 lumens. It is 3 times the amount of lumens as the original TLR-6. That is a huge upgrade. That was the #1 complaint before. No one wanted it, not because there wasn't a rail, but they didn't want it simply because it wasn't that strong. But being 300 lumens, they knocked it out of the park. You don't need much more than that for self-defense. You're not shooting at 150 feet away at self-defense or the prosecutors will eat you up. Let's just be real here. This is plenty of lumens for the 99.99999% of us that will never experience a self-defense encounter. And the ones that actually do they really draw, turn their light off, and then turn their light on and then shoot? Think about it for a second. You draw, turn the light on, okay, I got it on, now shoot. It's not like that. Typically, they're up close and personal. You can see them. Even in the dark, you can really see. Especially if you're in the dark for, a couple minutes, your eyes get used to it. But are you really going to make sure it's on first? You know what I mean? It's just, people are really dramatic nowadays, and it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's a great product. Like I said, the #1 downfall was the 20-minute battery supply, but I have no problem with that. I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great light option, and I potentially am going to be putting it on my carry performance center because it doesn't hurt to just have on there. Am I ever going to use it? No. In self-defense, no. But training at night in the dark, shooting on some property, that's the one time I potentially will actually try this. And like I said, it uses the same holsters. So I have one coming for my from Blacksmith Tactical, code SPN for 10% off for my original Shield or Shield Performance Center or Shield Plus, right? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.